In the unforgiving expanse of California's desert, a place exists where the rules of the outside world seem to disappear. This is Slab City, a lawless haven known as the last free place in America. With no police, no government, no rent, and no regulations, Slab City is a refuge for those seeking to escape society's constraints. But how does this unregulated sanctuary survive in the modern world? Is it a paradise of absolute freedom or a chaotic, unpredictable environment? Join us as we uncover the story of this fascinating, misunderstood community, where freedom and survival meet in the harsh desert landscape. A harsh yet resilient home. Slab City isn't for the faint of heart. Located in the blistering heat of the California desert, temperatures here regularly climb past 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius in the summer. This uninhabitable environment, with no running water, electricity, or sanitation, forces its residents to rely on creativity, resourcefulness, and sheer grit to survive. Homes are crafted from scraps, old cars, pieces of plywood, and anything that can be repurposed. Graffiti-covered concrete slabs stand as reminders of Slab City's military past, each mural telling the untold stories of its current inhabitants. At night, the city plunges into darkness, broken only by the distant howls of coyotes and the occasional clinking of metal as residents live by their own rhythm. From military base to free haven, before it became a sanctuary for the free-spirited, Slab City was once Camp Dunlap, a military artillery training base constructed during World War II. In the 1950s, after the military abandoned it, the base was left to decay. By 1956, it was fully dismantled, with only the barren concrete slabs left behind as remnants of a military past long forgotten. In the 1960s and 1970s, as the world grappled with the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and widespread social upheaval, people began to gravitate to the empty, desolate land. Seeking freedom from the constraints of mainstream society, a new wave of nomads set up camp. These countercultural pioneers, many influenced by the rebellion of the era, turned what had once been a site for military training into a new kind of community, a society where the rules of the outside world held no sway. It was a form of resistance, a rejection of the societal norms that many saw as oppressive. Slab City was born from that spirit, a community based on the ideals of autonomy, rebellion, and freedom. But could such a community survive without the structure of conventional laws? And could it maintain any sense of order without government oversight? Life without boundaries. Living in Slab City is unlike any other experience. It's a place where personal freedom meets survival, and creativity often rises from the most unlikely of places. Sarah came to Slab City to escape an abusive past, finding refuge in the anonymity it offers. "Here, I can start over," she whispers, her story one of many hidden behind the walls of this place. Slab City exists as a juxtaposition of extremes. One moment, laughter can be heard as a group of street performers gets ready for a show, and the next, someone sits in the dark, struggling with their inner demons. It's a place of fragility, where safety and danger often coexist. "Some come here to escape," says one anonymous resident, "but not everyone is here for the right reasons. Be careful who you trust." Surviving the desert heat, life in Slab City is an ongoing battle against the elements. The brutal desert heat makes everyday tasks difficult, with temperatures regularly reaching above 120 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius, in the summer months. Water is scarce and must be hauled from nearby towns, often requiring residents to travel miles in order to secure enough for daily needs. There is no power grid, so solar panels are the primary source of electricity, and makeshift rainwater collection systems provide the most basic form of water supply. Without formal waste management systems, residents have had to develop their own ways of coping with sanitation challenges. "You do what you can to survive," says Mike, a mechanic who has lived in Slab City for over a decade. He repairs anything from bicycles to generators in exchange for food or supplies. Yet for all their resourcefulness, life here is never easy. The risk of environmental hazards, such as toxic waste and untreated waste seeping into the ground, looms large. Residents do what they can to maintain some semblance of order, but it's an uphill battle. "Freedom here comes at a cost," says Alex, a former resident. "It's hard, but the people here make it work. You learn to adapt or leave." The Slab City Code, freedom and responsibility. Despite the absence of formal laws, Slab City isn't entirely lawless. Its residents have created their own system of order, a system that relies on mutual respect and collective responsibility. "We don't need cops," says Mike. "We have each other." When disputes arise, the community gathers to solve problems without outside intervention. If someone oversteps boundaries or disrupts the peace, the collective comes together to address the issue. In the absence of authority, residents have developed a system of checks and balances based on the idea of personal responsibility. "Here you live and let live," says Lily. "But if you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." Environmental struggles. Will Slab City survive? While the spirit of freedom and autonomy thrives in Slab City, it's increasingly clear that the community faces significant environmental challenges. Without waste management infrastructure, much of the garbage is simply discarded or burned, creating serious ecological concerns. Toxic waste from makeshift dumping grounds is slowly seeping into the soil and water supply, and experts warn that Slab City could be on the brink of an environmental disaster. Authorities are taking notice. As Slab City's popularity grows, and as tourists flock to see this unique community, the question remains: will the government step in and reclaim the land? Could this last free place face forced relocation, or will it continue to defy the expectations of the outside world? Salvation Mountain and East Jesus. Art in the desert. Amid the harsh landscape, Slab City is home to two incredible art installations: Salvation Mountain and East Jesus. Salvation Mountain, constructed by Leonard Knight, is a towering, vibrant monument built entirely out of discarded materials like paint, straw, and mud. A testament to Knight's devotion to spreading the message of love, this colorful structure has become one of the most visited and beloved landmarks in the area. Meanwhile, East Jesus is an open-air gallery of surreal, thought-provoking sculptures made from discarded objects. Artists like Wizard use society's cast-offs to create works that challenge the consumerist mindset and question the impact of waste on our world. One piece features hundreds of old televisions flashing static, symbolizing our addiction to the meaningless flood of information. These installations, like the people of Slab City, defy traditional norms and embody a creative rebellion against the system. The future of Slab City, a fragile existence. Slab City stands at a crossroads, balancing between freedom and chaos, art and decay, survival and uncertainty. As pressures mount, both from the outside world and from internal environmental challenges, the future of this unique community is unclear. Will it endure, or will it succumb to the forces of modern development? Will the residents find a way to preserve their independence, or will Slab City fade into the annals of history like so many other utopian experiments?